So this is Dr. Cruz from Kentucky on Integrative Medicine interviewing L.C. McCawley. Mr. McCawley, can we put this interview on the internet?
Yes.
Great. Mr. McCawley, tell us a little bit about your heart condition.
Well, in 1999, my heart condition was so bad, I didn't really know what was going on. But anyway, I wound up going to my primary care physician. He told me that you need to see a cardiologist. And so I wound up going to Louisville Cardiology. Dr. Wayne Shugall was the attending doctor there, and had done a heart cath. And they found that I had 6 blockages in one artery, in one main artery, and the back part of my heart. And he told my family that that it was not operable. That if he operated, said I wouldn't get off of I wouldn't live through the operation. And so he gave me a lot of medicine, sent me home, and with all the medicine that I was taking, I just couldn't hardly do anything because it made me so drowsy. And the point of the medicine was from to keep me sedated to where I wouldn't get my heart overtaxed, and cause me to have a heart attack. And then I found out from a friend of mine about Dr. Wolverton. So I thought, well, I didn't know anything about it,
Dr. Wolverton
Yes.
is the pioneer that brought chelation. We're both getting emotional because Dr. Wolverton brought chelation to Kentuckiana,
Yeah.
and he saved a lot of people who weren't heart surgery candidates with chelation. And tell us how bad your symptoms were, and then what Dr. Wolverton suggested to you.
My symptoms were so bad and I couldn't push a lawnmower about 10 feet without having severe angina pain to the place of where that I was holding my chest. But anyway, and I went to Dr. Wolverton, and he viewed my heart cath, the pictures and all, and of course Dr. Wolverton's a little bitty fella, and he said, "Oh, great one." He said, "After about 10 of these suckers," that's what he called them, said, "I'll have you dancing all night." And I was, when I first went there, I was kind of skeptical myself.
Sure.
And because I'd never heard of it before. And after I received, I was looking for a big, after 10. Well, I thought after 10, it didn't happen. So let's keep it going. And after 21, that's when I got the because it didn't go. It just seemed like it didn't go away just all of a sudden. But I could feel the relief in my own thoughts, in my own head. I was thinking clear. I didn't have the struggle. I didn't have the angina pain, and so after 21 of them, it worked for me.
How bad were your symptoms? I mean, we didn't explore that much. You couldn't push along. Could you walk up a flight of stairs?
No, not without stopping.
Okay.
Not without stopping.
So one flight of stairs you had to stop in
Yes,
the
2 or
middle.
3 times.
2 or 3 times?
Yes, going up the stairs because I had to stop and hold on to the rail. And then I was the design engineer, self-made designer or engineer for a Manitowoc company, and I always had to be a step ahead of everybody. And that was a very hard task for me because I had brain fog.
Sure.
But after that, it was easy. After I started doing the chelation and after the 21 treatments that I had, it was easy because you're thinking clear, everything is, it wasn't any problem at all for my thinking to be ahead, at least a day or two ahead of the people that work with me.
All right.
And, but it took 21.
Okay.
It took 21 of them before I really noticed a significant difference. And the difference that I noticed was all of the symptoms of angina went away.
Okay.
Not only did it remove that, but I also didn't realize what was going on, but also had brain fog. I had a lot of metals built up in my veins that I didn't know. And it cleared all of that out. And after I'd done 21 of them, I felt like a different person. I had energy. I was able to do things that I hadn't been doing in a long time. And then after I'd done, I think it was probably about 50 of them, why the Dr. Wolverton suggested that I do one a month as a maintenance. And that's what I've been doing since 1999. And it has been working for me. Since then, I have gone back and I've had 3 stents, but also I've had 2
new arteries that showed up. So, and who did that stent?
Dr. Sweat was my cardiologist, and he came in and told me after he'd done a heart cath and said, "You've got the best bypass that anybody could have." And I thought, what?
So he said, "This is the best bypass I've ever seen."
Yes. And I grew a new artery, and since then I've grown another one. I've grown 2.
So you've grown 2 new arteries,
yes.
And you attribute this to chelation therapy.
Yes.
And in spite of that, and Dr. Sweat is an excellent cardiologist.
Yes, he is.
Technically, he's very good at catheterizations and angioplasties.
Yes.
But he still remains skeptical of chelation.
Well, what he told me was, because I mentioned it to him, and he said, "Well, it's still experimental. There's not enough data." And I mentioned to him, I said, "Well, Doc, I'm a data point."
Right.
I said, "I'm one that's, as you know, that what my condition was, and you know what it is now. What my inabilities were, and you know what my abilities are now. I've retired from a company that I worked for and started my own lawn care business on the side, and I couldn't mow yards. Now I mow everybody's yard."
How old are you?
75.
And you mow yards? You don't push lawnmowers?
Some I do. Weed eat, push mower, riding mowers, 0-turn mowers, bush hog. I have a tractor. I have a small business, and do things that I could not do in 1999.
In 1999. So here we are.
Yeah.
20 years later.
21 years later.
And you're how old again?
75.
75.
Yeah.
So is your quality of life better now than it was 20 years ago?
Yes.
Okay.
Very much so. I'm able to be more active, and I still deer hunt. I like to.
So, to all the skeptical cardiologists, I just gave Mr. McCawley, and I've sent this information to other local cardiologists, a review of the NIH TAC study that was performed by a Harvard-trained cardiologist who was hired by the National Institute of Health, which is a research arm of our government, to prove that chelation did not work. And he went into this study thinking that chelation did not work and that that's what he was going to prove.
Yeah.
And in his first study, he proved that chelation was a therapeutic tool, especially to diabetics. And he's doing a second study. And so when cardiologists say there isn't enough data, a lot of other scientists will tell you that if you have enough patients saying that their symptoms are improving with a therapy, you don't have to run a placebo arm. That's, evidence-based medicine is powerful and should be respected. And we want to show you that study. We're happy to email it to any primary care or cardiologist or internal medicine specialist that wants to see it.
One of Dr. George's favorite sayings to me was, we talked, and he said, "Oh, great one," said, "God made our bodies," and he pointed his finger, "and made our bodies in such a way it'll take care of itself if we put the right stuff in it."
Amen to that. Amen to that. That's right. The body was made to heal itself.
Yes.
And if the body is given the tools that it needs, it will self-heal.
Yes.